I remember going up to the Great White North, Marquette, Michigan. I was traveling from Green Bay. It was the middle of the night. It was like 4 a.m. and driving through the wilderness because there's nothing there except some stops along the way. The highway wasn't all built that took us up a part of the way. So we were going on and off, highway to local roads, highway to local roads, highway to local roads, and finally just local road, kind of going all that way up in the dark. It was snowing, raining. It was just a messy day, messy morning. And I had to be there by, I think it was like 10 o'clock. I think I got there around 11. And it was just because of the slowness, because you figure your routes and then you don't figure in the time that you take for all those stops along the way. And I got there and got to this meeting that I was to be there for 4 hours. I was doing some training. What happened? Well, the team was there. The people that were hosting the event were there. They had everything set up. They knew travel was somewhat sluggish and they were waiting for me for my part, but they were, continuing to do their part. So one of those things that I think about as I was driving up there is it's good to have a team. It's good to have somebody with you to grow and develop and help them grow to be better leaders. And they were taking those lessons that I was going to teach onward. So I was a little delayed. So, there's a lesson in there for me. Leave earlier. 4:30 in the morning wasn't enough. I had to leave like 3:30 in the morning if I knew the road conditions. And it was just one of those trips I really didn't want to travel. But I couldn't leave the night before. I couldn't get there before. And you come across all kinds of wildlife that slow you down too. Bears and deer and all those things. But what happens? You have a team. You need a team. So yesterday we talked about throttling up, getting going. What's the thoughts that you have? And are you focusing on the thoughts, slowing down to understand them? But when you enact them, when you execute on them, do you throttle up? Do you move forward? So as I was driving up that path, I'm rehearsing my training and thinking into it and what I wanted to bring in. But I also knew that I was going to make a stake in people's lives that were going to take and move that forward, move that thought forward, move that effort forward. It was an important training, and it was an important discussion, much more than training. So how many times do you go to training? As I'm thinking about this, how many times do you go to training and you sit there and you're bored? Because it's not necessary, or it's just, we have to go through this compliance stuff, and you have to listen and, take it in, and you already know the answers, for the most part, but it's important. So much of our compliance training is to protect the law or protect the organization, not necessarily yourself. So what do? Why do we need a team? Why do we need a team? We need a team to help us take that thought forward, because no person can take their thought and enact it. So you can't just get in a car and drive. You have a thought, hey, I want to go to the beach. So you jump in the car and throttle up and head to the beach, right? Well, someone built that car for you to get to the beach. And maybe if you're living in the beach, you just got to get out. Well, there's other things that were put together there by teams. Maybe not directly, but indirectly for your use so that you could get there, so that you could have that space. Someone, in essence, cleared that space for you. What's important to your thought, though? If you think into your thought, who are the people that you want to get in around you? So just like in a race car, in NASCAR, there's a team to prep and make sure that that car is moving along on the track and do the maintenance on the fly. But then, there's others that are needed beforehand to figure out strategy and build the car and all those aspects. Who's in that team? Morning, Jenny. Welcome. Good morning to everyone that's logging in, taking a look at this. We're talking about after the thought that you have, what do? Well, you need to share it with somebody. You need to take that and share it and get that team. So who's going to be the people that you're going to invest in? So it's not the people I know from my corporate work. It's not the people that are just have to be there because of their role, but it's, in essence, we're doing things right. We're going to invest in people. We're going to have that team to carry forward the thought. But that leader, the person who's hosting, who's facilitating that discussion, needs to be able to invest in the people in that group. They need to figure out how it is that I'm going to, why I'm going to have that person in that group. What are they going to bring? What's the value? Or what's the skill that I'm going to help them develop while they're on this on this team? So we figure this out. We on the fly. We're thinking. This is the escalation part. It's just like, okay, I know I need to invest in this person. That person's not necessary. That one's good. That one's good. Oh, this one I'm not sure about. But let me talk with that person. Pretty soon, it's been said. There's a rule out there, 2 pizza rule. So there should only be enough people on the team that would be fed by 2 pizzas. If you have too many people, then there's people just sitting there and they're bored and they're not really engaged and they're not providing value. They're not lifting the idea to the next level. They're not helping you accomplish anything. They're just sitting there being sponges, perhaps. How many people said, oh, I just want to observe. I just want to sit there and soak it all in. Oh, they're not adding value, are they? If they're just soaking it in, it means they're just being like watching it on TV. Just watch it unfold, and maybe they'll get a pat on the back for doing something that they didn't do. The law of letting others do the work and you getting the credit for it, right? Saw many of that. It's important sometimes to bring others into the conversation, but they need to have a role. So what's the importance here as we wrap up? Who are the people that are going to be in on your team to help take your thought to your dream, help you transform yourself from where you're at to your dream? Who are they? What do you need to invest in them so that they can help you reach that goal? What are the things that they bring? What are the things that they need? So looking at their strengths and their weaknesses will help, or looking at what skills are necessary for this project to develop and grow. Those are the thoughts for today. Very short, but there's one thing I would like to leave you with. If you'd like to get in, we can delve into these things and figure out for you what the team is. And that's part of this year-long program that I'm working into. We'll have more information shortly, but just want to build it up right. And it'll be a monthly call, would be monthly investment, but it would take you and your needs and bring them up and get you ready through 2018 to be the best that you can be. We'll talk soon. Have fun and be well.